welcome to For the Birds with Richard Cole. I'm Donna Davis. Unfortunately, Richard couldn't make it today, but he is here the first Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock Eastern Time to answer your birding questions. If you do have a question and you're watching today's show, please put it in the comments and Richard will answer it. Not immediately, but he will answer it. And we want to invite you to put down where you're watching, what your hometown is. We would love to make this interactive and fun, and we're so glad you could join us today. It's going to be a great show. We're going to update you on the Cole's 2026 calendar photo contest. It is underway right now. We'll let you know all about it, and we want to really encourage all of you to please join. Please share this out with anyone you know who this would be fun for them. The best photos will make it into our 2026 Cole's photo, will make it into our 2026 Cole's calendar. So we'll tell you all about the photo contest and the prizes that you could win. We're also going to tell you about the best food for feeding birds during the summer. Richard Cole has advice about that. And he's testing your knowledge while he's not here. We have some video from Richard talking about some hummingbird trivia, some of the myths, and you decide if you think it's true or false. So we'll have a little fun with that. Please put your answers in the comments. And we're going to be talking about the best feeders to attract cardinals. So many people want those beautiful cardinals to come to their feeders. So we're going to talk about some of the feed and feeders that will help you attract cardinals. And first of all, we're going to go to our 2026 photo contest. We really hope that you'll enter. All you have to do is go to the website, the Cole's website. That's coleswildbird.com. And you're going to see on the Cole's website that it is literally the first thing you come to. You can't miss this. See right here, Cole's photo contest. You just click here for all the details. Once you get there, you'll see this beautiful first prize winning picture that Tim Bowser took of these European starlings. So he won first place for that. And could your photo be the next to make it to our Cole's 2026 calendar? You need to enter to win, and we love photos that depict the seasons and feature wild birds. It's a plus if the birds are enjoying Cole's products. Make your photos landscape, not portrait. Please have the photos. That's just preferred. It's better for our printing, and they look great. The deadline to enter is July 15th, and enter up to 10 photographs, and below are some of the prizes that you could get. So check out this first place prize package, over $350 value. Some amazing feed products, seed products. This gives you an overall, if you love feeding birds, you are going to love this so much. We've got all kinds of feeders here for you, including Tubezilla. This is an amazing feeder. It is huge and always easy to clean. You've also got all these seed products. You get a chance to try some of the hot meats, the blended foods. You get the Flaming Squirrel seed sauce, the Titan tray, which you'll love, and everybody loves the Cole's Hummer High Rise and the new Cole's Nectar for hummingbirds. Now, second place is also great. It's over a $250 value. You get a tube feeder, you get the bountiful bowl, and you also get all of these blended foods. So that Titan tray is great as well. You'll love that. And third place, you also get a great variety of just different Cole's products, and that is valued up to $150. All you have to do is fill out your form and tell us a little bit about how you heard about it, adhere to the rules, and then start uploading all your photographs. You can upload up to 10 of them. So we really want to encourage you to take part in this. And we also want to show you we want to go to our Facebook page, because once we pick And the people at Kohl's pick the semi-finalists, and we will post all of those on our Kohl's Wild Bird Products Company Facebook page. You see right here, I hope you're on Facebook. So we will post the photographs, and then we want you to vote on those. Tell us which ones you like the most, and your votes will determine first, second, and third place prizes. We determine which photographs actually do make our calendar, and a lot of people just love to see their photograph in the calendar. But we want to show you the contest winners from last year, or this year we might say. So this is Tim Bowser's picture of the European starlings that got first prize. Al Sun's picture of this adorable cedar waxwing was second place, and the goldfinch, this beautiful goldfinch, was third place. So a lot of great prizes, lots to shoot for. We were so excited. So we do want to go over a little bit of just some hints that might make your photographs a little bit better. Again, please make them landscape, not portrait. It's a good idea to clean your feeders and make sure that the feeders just look nice and presentable. Every once in a while, we get an amazing picture, but it might be on a feeder that's just dirty. So we do prefer that the feeders look nice and clean. And pay attention to your background. We really want, pretty backgrounds that reflect the seasons. So we're going to take a look at all the pictures that made the Kohl's 2025 calendar. And we want you just to notice some of the colors, the composition, as well as just the story that's being told in each one of these pictures. Again, this is not for professional photographers. We welcome amateur photographers. We love just stories that are told through the photos. We love the seasons being captured. So this is a picture of a ruby-throated hummingbird. This made our cover, and this was by Becky Kemp. For January, of course, this beautifully depicts the winter, and this is a white-throated sparrow, and that's by Tate Graham. For February, male and female house finches by Anita DiNicola. And a yellow-bellied sapsucker and downy by Trudy Flowers. For March and April, beautiful bright colors that reflect the seasons and also just look great with the northern cardinal. That's by Linda Robbins. And of course, May 2025, European Starlings by Tim Bowser. And in June, the American Goldfinch by Albert Sant. And in July 2025, this wren taken by Lydia Lively, and beautifully depicts the summer. This is just that great cooling off that birds need so much in the summer. And August, we all love the hummingbirds. This is a ruby-throated hummingbird by Tate Graham. September, the brown thrasher by Michelle McNeil. And we love fall photos. This is a classic for October. This is a tufted titmouse by Becky Kemp. And the beautiful, bright Baltimore Oriole for November by Kathy Diamantopoulos. And in December, of course, this beautifully reflects the winter with the cardinals eating out in the snow. Northern Cardinals by Trudy Flowers. So that's in January, January, these calendars include an extra month. So you get an extra month in all of our calendars. January 2026, Chickadees by Kelly Crone. And all of those just look amazing. And so we can tell you all about, those photographs that you might want to look at just to give you hints about things that you might want in yours. And of course, it's summertime. Richard Cole has this video about what you want to feed birds during the summer. Let's talk about what you could feed the birds during these hot days of summer when they are trying to feed their babies. They are so busy with nesting. What are some good foods for them?
Well, I like to think that suet, is great, and suet kibbles, which is one of our products. They're a little pelletized food that has high energy in it, and pure suet and suet cakes, and also pure sunflower meats are great because it becomes a great insect substitute.
And what type of birds like these suet kibbles? What might we attract
I
with the
have
suet
not
kibble?
found a bird that won't eat
Doesn't
them.
like it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's like a handy little snack food. It's nothing. It's not like a hard shell that some birds can't crack open. It's just food, and they start eating it. And it's like they like it. So it's easy to serve, and it's easy for them to eat, and so a lot of birds are attracted to it. There's a lot of other seeds, hard shell sunflower seeds, fine for a lot of birds, especially the birds with larger beaks who can crack it. And if you don't want to feed just pure sunflower meats, of course, everything likes pure sunflower meats.
Oh, yeah.
Easy
To eat. Yeah.
It's easy to eat.
No cracking open the shell, you just eat it.
But it's important in the summertime to just have the food available all the time. Just like in the winter, these guys don't have a lot of time. They've got to find a lot of insects and all to feed their young, and they can just grab a bite and get back to the nest, and they'll be fine. You can almost just feed the same thing you do winter and summer, but I like to add some extra things in the summertime.
So great advice from Richard Cole. He's such an expert and he has so much passion about the birds and feeding the wild birds. He also has an incredible amount of knowledge about hummingbirds. And in this next video, we want you to play along. Please put your answers in the comments and play along with us. These are some true, false trivia questions that Richard has the answers to. Fact or fiction, to make the long trip to Central America, hummingbirds ride on the backs of geese, so give us your answer. Their long bills are needle sharp and will pierce your hand if you try to grab them. So give us your answer. Is that fact or fiction? Also, ruby-throated hummingbirds can fly 20 hours nonstop to cross the Gulf of Mexico. Is that fact or fiction?
It's a long way.
It is a really long way. And hummingbirds don't have legs. Fact or fiction? And on this one, true or false, if you leave a feeder out in the fall, your hummingbirds will stay and not migrate. And our last one, fact or fiction, hummingbirds can survive freezing weather. So go ahead and participate with us and give us your answers. We want to kind of check in and see who does well. Also, if you don't want to participate in that, we'd love to just see where you're watching from. So just put in the comments, where you are, what city you're in as you're watching this today. And don't forget, Richard is here to answer any birding question. He is the expert. So let's go through these now. So our first one, fact or fiction, Richard, to make the long trip to Central America, hummingbirds ride on the backs of geese.
That sounds plausible, or necessary. These guys are so small. Hummingbirds like that, not near as fat as that little finger. They only weigh a couple of grams, and that's across the Gulf of Mexico is 500 miles, and it's a nonstop flight. They stop flapping, they drowned. So can they do that? Absolutely. They have no trouble doing that.
Wow. It is amazing. They're probably one of the most amazing creatures.
And that's one of the reasons this time of year you see them hanging at the feeder so much. They're on their southward move. They've got a long way to go. They need a full tank. Fats are reserved, so they'll sit and eat as much sugar as they can, catch as many insects as they can for the proteins, get as fat as they can for this flight. When they get down to the Gulf area, some of them go around the land bridge all the way around down through Mexico. A lot of them in the eastern United States go right on across the Gulf of Mexico, nonstop, about 20 hours. They average around 25 miles an hour. So these little guys can scoot.
Yeah, and do you think that rumor got started because people just find it so unbelievable that a little bitty hummingbird could do that?
Yes, absolutely. We do tend to think of them in human terms in a way. Something that small, like a little baby, they can't help do anything. They're just stuck. They can't fly that far. They're delicate. They're weak. They couldn't possibly fly that far, and they do. They gain a lot of weight before they go, they take off, and they do not stop all the way into Central America.
It's amazing.
And then they come back, and they do it again and again, year
Yeah.
after year.
Okay, so let's move to our next question. Their long bills are needle sharp and will pierce your hand if you try to grab them. I'm going to guess on this. That's got to be false. You always grab them.
You see all the holes in the... People look at birds like that, and especially hummingbirds, they don't ever get them up close to observe them. They see them, and they see these long bills, and they don't ever see the bill open. So they think they're needles. They think they're so sharp. They also think they suck up the nectar like a straw through that little tube, and they believe it's very sharp, and it is not at all.
Yeah.
It's like most birds' beak. It's fairly hard, but it's certainly not sharp. And they don't suck nectar up through the little hole in the end. It will open up very wide. I observed one hummingbird one time there was a bumblebee, of all things, on the feeder. This little bird came up, opened his bill, grabbed the bumblebee, and flipped it back over and went to the feeder. I'd
Wow.
never seen anything like that. It just got the bee out of its way. So when it opens up, it's like, oh, that really opens.
Wow.
So yes, they have a regular
Don't you wish
bill.
you'd gotten video of that?
Yeah, I tried and it didn't happen again.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things they can do. They've got a bird beak very much like the others, just longer, and their tongue is just like a little brush. A lot of little pieces on it that goes down the nectar, slurps it right back up.
Slurps it. I love it. So if you see me looking down here, I'm listening, but I'm just trying to monitor whether or not we get any comments yet on these. So now let's go through. Ruby-throated hummingbirds can fly 20 hours nonstop to cross the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes, and I think we just touched
Yeah.
on that. They can't. They're amazing. The ruby throats in the east have that trip to make. Some of the ruby throats will go around and go through the southern states and around down to Mexico. Now, not to say that the western birds are wimps or anything, because they, especially the rufous in the western states, migrate coming up all the way up into Alaska, southern Alaska, and then into Canada, and where their breeding territories are. Then they migrate all the way back down, not over water generally, but all the way back down into Central America. They make this tremendous trip also. So there are no wimps either over there, although the ruby throats do fly nonstop across the Gulf of Mexico.
I don't think that any hummingbirds are really wimps. They are one tough little bird.
And they're tough, yeah, they really are.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Hummingbirds don't have legs.
Well, you can see why that. People see these birds, and how many times you see their legs? Unless you're looking at a feeder very close, you don't see them. They're little bitty legs. They have them. And some people thought, well, they never perch and never land, so they just see them flying around, and they get up in a tree, they can't see them. So they thought, well, I don't know how that really got started, but I've heard it a lot. Do they have legs? Yeah, they do. And they're decent-sized little legs. We know because the banders take and pull the little legs out from under the fur and put a bracelet on it.
That's right. That's where they band them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I see them all the time because I have hummingbird
Yes.
feeders, so you see their little legs, but they would have a hard time landing or feeding or doing anything without those legs. So if you leave a feeder out in the fall, your hummingbirds will stay and not migrate.
That is probably one of the most persistent stories I've heard. And so many people believe that. Now, is it true or not? No, it's not. It's not, but it sounds plausible because the way we think as humans, there's food there. They come to the feeder, so they're going to stay here and die in the wintertime because they're not going to leave because there's food right here. They're smarter than that. The reason they're at your feeder is because they've already left from where they were. They're moving south, and they're hitting the feeders along the way. They remember from year where they were. They'll check a good food source on their. It's like the Howard Johnsons on the road to Florida.
Exactly.
They know it's one's right down here. They pull in and stop. If it's not open, they go on to the next one. So they know what they're doing, and they'll make it all the way down there.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Amazing little creatures. Okay, so our last one, hummingbirds can survive freezing weather.
There's another one that sounds, how do they? We get back to what we were seeing earlier. They're small, they're so delicate, they're weak, they're helpless. How could they possibly survive in the wintertime? On top of that, they drink nectar from flowers. A couple of things wrong with that is they really don't live on nectar. That's simply an energy source. They live on insects. And if you watch them very carefully, you'll see them hawk one out of the air. They'll fly out off a limb, grab one, and come back. You might not see the insect because it's very small. They get around the bushes. There's gnats and small animals.
Yeah.
They eat small animals. And there's gnats and small insects in the bushes. They'll get those. And even inside the flowers, you see little small spiders and things. They will eat those. That's their building blocks for a living. That's their protein. That's their fats. And they use this nectar is simply a Snickers bar for energy. So
interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought they could live on nectar.
the flower, they will not. People make that mistake sometimes. Who will capture an injured bird or something, and they feed it nectar, and of course it doesn't live very long.
Oh, wow.
They will die. And the birds don't have flowers in the wintertime, so we suspect they can't survive here.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that. We had a bird in North Georgia that we captured probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I went up there to see it. Somebody reported it, that there was a bird here in the wintertime. And I believe it was January, and there was snow on the ground. And we went up there, and here, sure enough, this bird was coming to a feeder. And I watched the bird, and coming back to the feeder, he'd go over and perch on a tree, wait 15, 20 minutes, come back, sip at the feeder. While I was watching it from a secure spot, I was over by some bushes inside the house. And I realized, I'm looking around, there's snow on the ground, there's gnats flying in the bushes. The sun had hit the side of the house. It was warm enough. Gnats got up and they're flying. Oh my goodness, there's insects here.
Yeah.
So these birds find the food. They're good at surviving. This was a rufous hummingbird. It's a western species, which spends the winter here. Some of them do, not many, but a few spend the winter here. So it was getting along just fine.
Wow.
It stayed there the entire winter and moved out.
Richard knows everything there is to know about hummingbirds. I hope you did well on the quiz. Now we want to tell you about the best feeders for attracting cardinals. So cardinals are attracted to bright colors, especially reds. They prefer feeders that are often a variety of seeds. Now this is Cole's suet kibbles, and this is perfect because it's high energy suet, and cardinals love it. It's easy for them to eat, and it's so bright that they love it. Now, these feeders are so great for being able to really see the cardinals. And like I said, they love these blends. There's several Cole's blends that you can use to attract cardinals. They do like something sturdy. They really like a sturdy feeder. They also like tube feeders. So this is a tube feeder that has both a dome and a protective, top over it, and it has a Titan tray. The tube feeder has the Titan tray. This, like I said, is the Bountiful Bowl with the suet kibble, and those are great. Now, on this tube feeder, cardinals love this. They'll sometimes eat right, at eye level, but sometimes they'll just pick up the seeds. And tube feeders with a blend are a great thing to use to attract cardinals, and everybody likes to attract cardinals. You want to pick feeders too that are easy to clean, especially in the summer. You want to make sure that they do stay clean. All the Cole's feeders are super easy to clean. I run mine through the dishwasher. They're so easy. And you'll want to be able to have squirrel resistance. And that includes, you could have a baffle, or you could even have the hot seed. Now this is such a great picture. The cardinals are able to, they have these big beaks, so they love sunflowers. In the shell, they're easily able to pop them, and so these two house finches are joining in the party. And as you can tell, everybody's just getting along, so they can be really easy to have at the feeders together, but I've also seen some video where they will run each other off. And we have some video with a large feeder. See how this feeder, all these cardinals are coming, and the female wants to make sure she has plenty of room. And it's so funny with this one because the males actually seem to be getting along with the other males more than the female does. But this, I believe, is safflower seed, and safflower is a great choice for cardinals. They absolutely love safflower. They like sunflower meats, and they love safflower. And the great thing about safflower is you're not going to attract like the European starlings and the crows and the birds that can just eat up so much of your food. And so cardinals love these big sturdy feeders like this. Everybody has room. They're gonna love it. So you wanna keep your seed fresh, change it out on a regular basis, keep your feeders clean. And so these, just some examples of all the things that you need to attract these beautiful birds. And the mates will feed together. They enjoy coming to the feeders together. And then as you can tell, you can have lots of cardinals come to your feeder at the same time. They will usually get along pretty decently. So that's how you attract cardinals to your feeder. You want to have great feeders and you want to serve them great food, and you will attract them. So we're going to end today's show with a video of all the semifinalists from our Kohl's 2025 calendar photo contest. And we also want to remind you that our calendar photo contest for 2026 is going on right now. Have your entries in by July 15th. They must be in by then. You can enter up to 10 photographs. Please keep them landscape and not portrait. And we love them to show the seasons. We especially enjoy seeing them eating Kohl's products. And just a reminder to really pay attention to the background, as well as paying attention to clean feeders. So thanks so much for joining us today. Richard Kohl should be here the first Wednesday of August at 3 o'clock Eastern Time to answer your birding questions.
Hello, this is Richard Cole. I want to thank each of you for watching, and I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share it.